biggest reason people don't improve at their instrument is not talent. It's not how much they practice, it's how they practice. And most people stop at the worst possible moment, right before they actually get progress. So let's talk about why the pros sound so confident, why your hands aren't keeping up with the ideas you have in your mind, and how a few extra reps could transform your playing. You see, the thing is, most people never learn music in a deep way. And what I mean by that is all the time I have students tell me they learned how to play something, and then when I ask them to play it for me, they make a whole bunch of mistakes, or they play about half of it and they stop. And they can't really get through. Maybe by the third or fourth time of trying to show it to me, they are able to play it. But it takes them like 4 tries before they can play it. They can't just show up, bam, got it, bam, got it, bam, bam. They can't play the idea or the song or whatever it is without having to like think about it. They can't get into it cold. And what I'm seeing happen is they never practice in a really deep way. So today I'm going to talk about a couple things that encompass what deep practicing is. Ideas about how your mind learns music faster than your fingers, what it really means to slow down. And then at the end, I'm going to show you what you can do in your practicing today to transform what's going on. So if you want to practice deeply, you have to understand that your mind learns music faster than your fingers. Even think about it. We process music in real time, right? I just played 2 A sections of rhythm changes. You might have been able to tell that, or you might have at least been able to hear some of the chord functions and where the chords were going. But we can process it music really fast, right? Like we process music as we listen to it in real time. And your brain is going to figure out what's going on with music faster than your fingers will. And so many times people, when they're practicing something, they stop when they feel like their brains got it. Like, oh, I understand it. But their fingers don't actually have it. A big culprit of this is when people are playing scale patterns. So one thing I assign to students all the time is to be able to play the major triads of their major scale. So if we have A major, it's an A major scale played in triads. Right? So oftentimes, this is one of those things where understanding the concept of that in your brain can come quickly once you've grasped some stuff. It's like, oh, as long as I know my A major scale and I know what the triads are, I can play that no problem. And your brain gets it. But the thing is, our fingers aren't as smart as our brain, right? There's like neurons in our fingers and nerves in our fingers too, but they aren't our brain. They don't have all the information. So we have to learn it at our fingers level, which means going slow, being humble, understanding that even just because you feel like you got it doesn't necessarily mean you got it. That you don't really have it till you can do it without thinking about it. As I always say, notice how I'm not looking at my fingers. Notice how I'm able to talk to you. I'm doing a little dance with this arm, I guess. But notice how free I am, right? Of course, right after I said that, I got anxious and looked at my fingers to check. Know it that well. People learn things in a way where they play it one time and they say, oh, I got it. And what's actually going on is they feel like they got it because their brain understands what it should sound like. And you've maybe played it right once and your brain's like, I got that. But you have to understand that your fingers are dumb and they take a lot of coaching to be able to figure out what it is you actually want to play. So whatever you're practicing, understand that your fingers are going to take more reps than your brain is. And that when you feel like you got it, you should actually use that moment to check in and say, Do I actually have this? Like, if I were to say, oh, I feel like I got it, let me pretend like I'm performing it for someone. Say, here it is. Do I play it without any mistakes? Do I play it confidently? Am I nervous? Your fingers need extra time to learn the music. So give your fingers that extra time. The second concept in practicing deeply that goes right along with this is the art of truly slowing down. Slowing down isn't just about bringing the tempo down, although that's very important and I would highly encourage it. But I also want to help you reframe it as not just slowing the tempo down, but slowing your thinking and your expectations down. I have students who are really eager and excited to play piano, and they want to learn piano as fast as possible. And often what that means is me telling them to breathe, slow down, and be humble enough to get really into one little thing. If we can meditate and lean into just the sound of the piano and enjoy the beauty of the simple thing, playing it again and again, real slow, we're going to connect to it way faster. If we're thinking in a fast way, we probably have all sorts of stuff that's not piano coming into our head. I was just working with a student the other day. We were playing 1-4-1-5, just as triads, and we were playing it as whole notes. And I was having us do it again and again and just try to let everything else out and make it something beautiful. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And just being willing to let it go really slow. You know, we have all sorts of devices vying for our attention all the time. A lot of us have jobs or school, family obligations, all sorts of different things. Then when we get to the piano, we're frantic. It's like, I want to get better right now. But part of getting better is actually going to be slowing down and being able to deeply connect with the piano. Now, a lot of people, maybe if they're practicing this, they would have done it a few times like that. And then their frantic, rushing brain would want to vary it. Say, ooh, I got it. Think your mind knows it before your fingers do, right? And try to move on to something else. Instead of slowing down and getting in the headspace of making this the most important thing in the world and the most beautiful thing you can possibly play. You know, Kenny Werner talks about practicing for 5 minutes at a time, the simplest things he can, and focusing on making it the most beautiful sound he's ever heard. Even as I'm playing this right now, I feel the tension within me that like this is a YouTube video and it's got to be exciting and high energy, and that playing this again and again is going to be boring, and that people already get it. But I can let those thoughts go and just focus on making this really beautiful. And then this simple thing gets really fun. And there's a whole world within this without having to add anything to it. And all of a sudden I feel a lot slower. I feel a lot calmer. I feel excited that I'm not going to have to redo this video. This is the take, because I'm in the zone at the piano, feeling good. And then resolve it back to the 1. So what it means to slow down when you practice obviously means slow down the tempo. But take slow down at the piano very seriously and challenge yourself to slow down your whole being while you practice. Don't think about all the music you don't know how to play and how you're behind and you should have started when you were younger and all this crap that floods in and taints the practice session that should be a meditative, peaceful, growth-centered thing. And if you can slow down your thinking and really dig into just being with whatever the small task you want to accomplish at the piano is, and accomplishing it with love and with joy, where you take the time to have your fingers learn it more than just your mind learn it and slow everything down, you're going to have a lot more fun, actually. You're going to leave the practice session feeling relaxed and feeling like you've accomplished something, and you're going to get better. So, one more piece of this puzzle, and this is where the actionable step is that when we understand that our fingers take longer to learn it than our brain and that we need to slow down, what we realize is that the reps after we want to quit are the important ones. If you've ever worked out, especially with a trainer who can really push you, you've learned this, that when you're doing an exercise, when you get to a certain rep, you're going to feel a lot of discomfort. You're going to feel like, holy crap, I'm going to be done. I'm going to die. And your personal trainer goes, no, you got to give me 3 more. And then you give them 3 more. They're like, no, give me 3 more. And then you do 3 that you can barely get through. They're like, give me 2 more. Give me 1 more. And they push you. And when you wanted to stop because you're like, oh, wow, I've done 8 reps of this exercise. I got to be done. But then you did 8 more. That was the important part. That was when it really counted. And the reps of practicing something, when our mind wants to wander, when we feel like we got it, those reps are the ones that actually count. Because here's the thing, if you can play something while you're focused on it, while it's new and exciting, whoop-de-doo. Who cares? The truth is, when you're playing a gig, there's going to be all sorts of reasons for your brain to be elsewhere. Maybe you're playing at a restaurant and there's like a lot of people moving around and stuff and you're like people watching, or just whatever. It's really hot in the room, or you're nervous about a certain song coming up. There's a million reasons on a gig that you can lose focus. And so that's when you want to make sure you actually know how to play something. The thing is, we practice something, we play it 3 or 4 times and we feel like we got it. But if we were to say, okay, this is when I want to quit, let me give it another rep and push through and play beyond that, we would find that maybe our fingers don't actually know it as well as we thought we did. And right when we were going to quit was right before we were going to actually screw it up and realize there was something to fix. So when you're working on something, play it a few times. And when you feel your brain start to wander, feel like you think you're done and you're ready to move on, that's when you should do 5 more reps. And what you'll find is that in those 5 reps is when you really actually learn it. When your brain is wanting to wander, when you're feeling bored with the exercise and you have to push through the discomfort of keeping on doing it, that's when you grow. That's when the exercise really sinks into your playing. So that's your challenge, is practice something and play it on loop. And once you feel your mind starting to wander because you think you got it, that's when you need to do it 5 more times. Comment on this video and let me know if you do that and if it helps you with your playing. Let's just recap real quick. The reason a lot of people don't get better is because they never learn music really deeply by practicing really deeply. And what it means to practice deeply is to understand that your fingers are learning slower than your brain, so you have to give extra reps to your fingers. You have to not just let your fingers not be as up to speed with your brain. You have to understand that there's a gap there. Then to fill that gap, we want to slow down, not just the metronome, but slow down our thinking and our minds and our creative space to zone in on it. And then you want to do more reps than you think you need. Once you feel like you've played it enough times and you think you got it, that's when you need to do 5 more. And if you screw up in those 5 more, then you still don't have it. Ideally, when you're getting bored, is when you want to do 5 more reps, and you need to nail all 5 of those to know that you really got it. If you're able to reframe your practicing in this way, even if you only practice 5 or 10 minutes a day, you will get dramatically better than somebody who practices mindlessly for hours and hours and hours. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to learn how you could level up your piano playing even quicker by working with me one-on-one, click on the link in the description to book a free call with me, and we can talk about how you can level up your piano playing by practicing deeply and many other things. Happy practicing!